People ask me if I get asked to do the voice a lot. I don't get asked to do. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We're starting.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Howie Mandel does stuff. I'm Howie Mandel.
Jacqueline Schultz.
And Mike Judge. The
Hello.
Mike Judge. How are you? What's cool?
I'm good. What's that?
What you said, that's cool. What was cool?
Oh, the backdrop you've got there.
Does it look familiar? Does it look familiar?
Beavis and Butthead. I've heard of them. Yeah.
But that's me and Jackie.
Yeah, I know.
That's me and
You
Jackie.
gotta- you guys are both better looking than that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't think
That's
so.
almost a compliment.
Yeah.
When you say to somebody who's better looking than Beavis and Butthead. When you first drew Beavis and Butthead, what did you have? Are you copying a person? Is it somebody you knew?
Well, see, I'm not very good at drawing, so it started out as two different attempts to draw the same person. So yeah, like I was trying. So, and he was a guy who's nothing like Beavis and Butthead. He was he's actually a straight A student nerd. I shouldn't say what he is now.
No,
He's an engineer.
What's his name? You were an engineer, right?
Yeah, I can't say his name.
You can't
yeah,
say
I
his
used
name?
to be. I probably shouldn't. Well, but
Can I just say something
Yeah.
before you say you probably shouldn't? Don't you think that if you told me that I was the impetus for Beavis and Butthead, you don't think that's a compliment?
you wouldn't sue me, or well, he wasn't really the impetus. He was
The
very
look.
The only thing, well, it started. See, what happened is, I was trying to draw him, and it sort of went. It's like that doesn't quite look like him, but I like what it looks like. I think the first one was
What's his name?
Was Beavis.
What's his name? I want to know his name.
His name was something like Bob or Steve.
Well, see,
He's a nuclear
now Bob and
engineer
Steve. Now Bob and Steve are listening, going, "It's me." You've just made 1,000, 10,000 Bobs and Steve happy.
But he was like he was a he was. I've told the story before, but I'll tell you the different version.
You tell me a different version.
No, I'll tell you.
I'm getting the
a
lie.
better version.
Okay.
And we had it was calculus class senior year. We had this a new teacher. Well, this guy comes up to, like, I'm passing this guy in the hallway, my friend Tim Neefsey, and he goes, he said, "Oh my God, have you seen the new calculus teacher? She's hot." Maybe it's junior year. She's like super hot, and I was like, "No, there's never been a hot teacher at the school. That's not well." She was like a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and
Really?
everyone was freaked out. But this one kid, he sat in front, and he would laugh at everything she said, and she hardly ever said anything funny. But he would just sit there writing really fast, and he was always biting his lip in this kind of nerdy way, going. And I would imitate him in the back of class, and these guys sitting next to me started imitating him too, and it was super annoying to the teacher. And
Does he know who he is?
does he know who he is?
No. Does the world know who that guy is that had that laugh?
A couple friends of mine do. He probably does. He might. I don't know.
Will you say his name?
Oh no, he's a nuclear engineer now. I know that.
The guy that was going.
yeah, he's a nuclear engineer.
Has got the code to
He's in charge of safety. No, I actually don't know what he's.
So that's where the
But he's a
sound.
nuclear engineer. But that was just the sound. But when I was trying to draw him, it didn't look like that. But it looked like something else. The Beavis, the blonde-haired one, was the first one I did, and I sort of exaggerated it to look more like, I didn't know who, but not anyone I knew specifically at all. It was just sort of like, I just imagined, it was kind of influenced by all kinds of people, and I drew a lighter in his hand, and I just imagined him kind of going, lighting a lighter. I don't know, maybe a little bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired, all those
I
weirdos.
love that.
And
I gotta say that your characters, and I think you've told the story ad nauseum so many times, but I'm fascinated by your whole story. Are you in good terms with Francesca?
oh yeah.
Okay,
No, she's
so
really
Francesca is his wife, his ex-wife, and
good. Yeah, we were all neighbors.
we were all neighbors. And for your birthday, right? Are you already an engineer? Or are we still in school?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on which.
Just the whole beginning.
Oh,
of
going to
giving.
the-
She bought you an at-home animation kit, right?
Oh, not really. I mean, she bought me. She had bought me the story I might have told you was I was already
So
decided
you
I was
tell
going to do
everybody
animation.
different stories.
No, I there was no kit because that got into the New York Times. The guy summed it up, but there was no kit. I just bought some supplies with the catalog. I think but yeah, we were together. We didn't have kids yet, and I just decided I was going to give this a try because I'd seen at there was it's called the Animation Celebration that would every year this company would put in indie movie theaters a compilation of all the Oscar nominated shorts around the world and just shorts that got into this festival.
Do you have epilepsy?
Am I?
No, because the lights are flickering, and I just want to
Do
make
I
sure.
look like I have?
No,
Oh,
no. I just don't want
I'm
you to have a
fine.
seizure.
Oh no, I'm fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was like I don't know, a local guy. We lived outside of Dallas, and a guy had gotten a film in there. This guy
No.
Paul Clairhout. So no, she was.
So is this
Jessica was
not-
very
is this-
supportive. She one thing she got me for my birthday was a little Pink Panther thing where you could. It was one of those just toys where you'd see the film. I might have told you about that, and you could step through. It was a really good way to kind of.
But your
Study
first was your
frame by
first
frame,
one
but-
Frog Baseball? It's Frog Baseball.
No, the first one I did was actually called Office Space, and which later led to the movie. But it was it was just the character Milton and the boss Lumberg taking a stapler. It was a 2-minute short.
Right. I've said
And that's what started everything for me because I animated the whole thing with this stuff I bought from a catalog cartoon color company. I think it's still there.
So now, aren't you afraid? You're mentioning them. Don't you
Yeah.
think that they're going to
They're
come
gonna
after
sue
you?
me.
We started this.
But as long as you don't sue me,
I will never sue you,
got
buddy. But I found it fascinating that this was like just a side hobby. You entered a local animation festival, and then I remember Mike's. Who's the guy that worked with Mike that came out to Texas and saw you and helped you sell it to Liquid Television? What was his name?
Oh, someone who came to Texas?
Who originally found you before from 3 Arts?
Oh, well, Rotenberg, I had already gotten my stuff. Michael Rotenberg. So that happened just kind of network. I was a musician at the time, actually.
You still are.
Yeah. But I was playing with a guy, Doyle Bramhall. It was I couldn't get a lawyer to call me back. The fourth short I did was Beavis and Butthead.
Right.
And that was in these festivals, the Spike and Mike Festival and Animation Celebration. And so I was getting some, and I just like mailed VHS tapes to these people. I didn't have any connections, but by then I was starting to get some. And anyway, Rotenberg saw a tape of all 5 shorts and signed me.
Right.
I had a deal to do Beavis and Butthead. We were in production on the show, but it hadn't gone on the air.
I remember when he saw them, and I remember the VHS tape. You know, Michael and I have been friends since we were 13 years old.
like high school. Or
Yeah. And you said I was a musician. You don't consider yourself a musician at all?
Oh, I guess I did it for a living back then. I still play. Yeah.
Do you put the music? Are you involved in any of the music in your movies and TV shows?
Yeah. I mean, well, mostly I use this really great composer, John Frizzell. I've used some, but I mean, the Beavis and Butthead theme song was always me playing all the instruments. I just recently for the new series redid it with Glenn,
On Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Gary Clark Jr. Was really awesome. He did a version. I'm playing on it too, but he's amazing.
You still love music?
Yeah. I mean, I think if I was a really good singer, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I just, if I had a really great voice, I would just do nothing else.
How do you know you don't? You know what?
I've tried.
Can I be honest?
I have a
with you?
good voice for doing stupid laughs.
No, but I'm going to ask you, and this may be uncomfortable. I want you, no, because I'm a talent judge. So just this is sing something, and I'll tell you whether you don't want to sing for me.
Well, I did sing as Beavis, the "I Got You, Babe," and it was a hit, believe it or not, because of Cher. But we did that duet in '93.
What was that like?
That was really cool for me. I mean, that was the first time.
Let's play that just so that people can hear that.
Oh God,
Beavis and Cher.
Beavis and Butthead and Cher doing "I Got You, Babe."
Yes. We'll pull that
up.
But
it was the first time that I got I'd gotten starstruck maybe the first couple times I met celebrities, and then it kind of didn't do anything. But something about that, because when I was a kid, we would watch the Cher show every week, and
I did too.
Don't advertise.
Remember the way it began? This voice that you didn't see anybody with. This voice would just say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Cher."
Yes.
And they had that circle with all the letters
We need a
of Cher.
chick.
Oh, you don't need to play the preamble here.
Yeah, here. Go right to the song.
But it
Where's
was
the
just
song?
so crazy for me. Like
You can go right in the
she
middle.
was really cool. Singing the harmony. Oh God! I remember we were. But it had to
Why'd you stop
talk
it?
it like a Barry White style.
That-
That's bad on purpose.
Look at you. You're getting all embarrassed.
I would.
But you're
Because you
in
said he
key.
just wants to be a singer.
No,
found this way
no,
in.
I can't. I can't. I'm not a singer.
I love it. Okay, cut.
Does that get the golden
Cut
buzzer,
that
Dad?
shit out.
No,
Yeah, get
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, I had to tell you, we watched yesterday, I think we watched your Watusi. I think that's better than your Watusi.
He's a better singer than me,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's what you're saying. Oh no, I.
No. But I've been to places. We've been to I was at Mike's house, and you've played the piano. You're an amazing musician. You really are.
thank you.
Really, and that was. So you've been. Your paths have always changed, right? You went to school for engineering.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you-
I had a schizophrenic path. Yeah, I mean, I was.
Did you
yeah,
get?
I
Did you graduate as a? Are you
yeah,
an engineer?
I got a degree in physics, and then I worked as an engineer for, I think, all in like 2.5 years or something. Like
What
that.
kind of engineering?
It was called electronic test engineering. I did the first job was actually for the F-18 fighter jet. Just the electronics on it.
You just would test it though.
No, you do. It's if you really want me to bore your audience,
Yeah.
it's software. It's like it
Doesn't
there's
matter.
technologies in cars now,
It's
but it tests itself like every several times a second.
And you came up
lets
with
it
that.
out.
So you've also.
Oh, I didn't come up with it. I worked on it. Yeah. It was-
Yeah, but you helped move it along and saved the free world.
helped. Yes,
And you went-
I was part of the
You said this is
military-industrial complex,
Yes, and you
the
said
war machine.
And you said this is not important. This is not
Yeah.
anything that I. Why would I strive to do this when I could stay at home and?
Yeah.
I also felt like, and I also think that everything you do hits the nerve of the mundane, real, kind of minute of who we are. You know, I think all of us are Beavis and Butthead, especially men.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there isn't anybody that even at this, you could be a banker and you look at a tall building and your first thought is, it looks like a penis.
Yeah.
But you'll go, that's kind of a phallic structure, right?
Oh yeah, it's like it's also, I mean, it's also girls too. I think maybe not as much as guys, but I remember when my daughters were in school. I don't know about here, but in Texas, it was the genital area was the polite term was the private area. They call it your private area. And I remember
Right. No, the private area is known worldwide.
that's a worldwide.
My privates. It's not
But-
just
but,
Texas.
Yeah, but the private area.
Just
but
in Texas,
I just
it's
remember,
private.
But like whatever you call it is going to become the naughty dirt. Because I remember the news was on. There was something about a flood, and the newscasters saying,
I'm trying to wait before you finish the story. I don't know how you got from the private area to the flood, but
Oh, no,
I
well,
would
you'll
imagine.
see.
But if we have sponsors, if they break to commercial now, I just think it's a great place. They'll definitely come back to see how your daughter's private
Turn into
kind
a
of
flood.
coincide with a Texas flood. Go ahead.
No, it's just like they were. I think my daughters were like 5 and 3 or something like that. But the person saying, "Right now behind me is a private area. We can't go back there." She's like, "She's standing in front of a private area." Blah. They're all like just cracking up for.
The Texas vagina is just outside of Dallas, and when the dam breaks,
Yeah, by the Trinity
It's a-
River.
it's a heavy flow day.
Men are even
The
the,
vagina dam.
age of the men back there that are behind us are still kind of like Beavis and Butthead, because right before I came on, our editor goes, "I added your boobs in there, but you can't see it because cut it off."
That's Jeremy
Just wanted
right
to
there.
know.
He's a huge fan.
I put boobs, but you can't see it. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
But you hit like a nerve. Like this is just something that I think you were, and that's the beauty, and that kind of dictates success when somebody is incredibly authentic to what you find funny, without trying to kowtow to this is going to sell, this is
Yeah.
what they want, these are the notes that people are going to give me. So making that transition and then from your own house and having that kind of success, and then ending up on MTV and ending up at a network. What was that like? As far as like, did the network say no, you can't do this or you can't do that, or and
Yeah, I mean that was a crazy transition because I'd literally never had anybody work for me. Like I had jobs where I worked for people, never had an assistant, never, it's a musician. And then suddenly I'm doing a show and there's like a whole staff of people. I mean, that part of it was very, that took getting used to. But yeah, I mean, it was just such a crazy time. The network, I don't know, they were, MTV, this was both good and bad. MTV had never done a TV show, so they didn't know what they were doing. They had done some.
Are you the
game
first
show
TV
thing.
show afterwards videos?
I think so. First scripted. They had some stuff like sketch kind of stuff and VJ. They definitely hadn't had a full animated show ever, so no one knew what they were doing, and they hired other people who didn't know what they were doing, and it was just a train wreck. I mean,
Which is fun, right?
it was
or
fun.
was
I mean,
it fun?
It had some. In some ways, it worked out. There's horrible. The first. It's so spotty. The first like 2 seasons. There's some that I think are great, and some that are just horrible. But
Episodes you're talking about?
yeah, episodes that are just not. There's nothing funny in the whole thing.
Why?
But just because like we had to do it was an impossible schedule. So like we were supposed to have, I think the animation company, which was just one guy hiring people, was supposed to have 20 episodes on March 8th of '93 when it debuted. My shorts had been on in '92, and they had 2 episodes. So and we're just like, well, we're going to run them anyway. We're going to cobble together shorts out of your shorts. I mean, episodes out of my shorts. And we just put this thing on the air, and to everyone's surprise, it was a hit. And then they pulled it back off. But it was just they would just give me scripts that the promo writers wrote. And I was like, I don't want to get fired. MTV, I'd sold it to MTV. I was in a really vulnerable position. So I was just like, well, so I have to do these. Okay. I was always afraid of getting fired because I think John Cristofalusi had just been fired from his own show on Ren and Stimpy. So it was like, oh, they can do this. They can pull you off your own show. So it took me a while to kind of get it going to where like around the 3rd season, and we did 2, they weren't a season a year. We did like 70 episodes, as many as that in a year. So
you did 70 episodes in a year. How long is an episode?
A 15-minute episode. So,
but that's
it's like
a regular half-hour show.
35 of them.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's animated, and it was just insane. I mean,
and
it slowed down later.
Did it start off with them watching music videos, or is that something that MTV said?
Oh, well, when I did the shorts, I had them in front of the TV at the beginning of one of them, but not videos. Yeah, MTV was originally saying maybe they'll be like VJs, and I didn't see them as talking to camera. That didn't seem right. So I just said, what if it was like them talking to each other about the video, and they're watching it, and Mystery Science, whatever it was, Mystery Science 2000 had just come out, and also there was a Julie Brown. What was her name?
Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah.
She had a show that I thought was really funny that had just happened, where she would occasionally put a music video on, then she'd take like a folding chair and watch it with you, and so I kind of cited that, like, what if they're just doing something like that? And that's how that started, which ended up being a really great way because I just kind of improv'd a lot of that. It was a really great way to work out the characters, really develop them in a short period of time.
In doing that much work, and I've done voice work, I do Bobby and I do other things, but that seems like something that, like, to do that all day, were you not, wasn't that painful?
I lost my voice a couple times. Yeah, especially Beavis, because he screams a lot.
Right. So did you lose was there things where you had to make delivery and then you go, I don't have a voice, or my throat is so sore?
Yeah, there was one time where I lost my voice for like 2 days. But that was, we were always struggling to make delivery.
And here you are, how many years later? What is this?
Oh,
this
God,
is 30. 30 years later. I was, last week, I've with my wife, she's on her tricycle at the beach. I go with her she has a tricycle that she likes at the beach. And overhead, there's Beavis and Butthead,
the banner. I just saw that.
Did you see that?
Flying, yeah.
Yes. There's a giant banner. And first of all, my first reaction is, wow, I know that guy.
Now, a word from our sponsors, right? BetterHelp.
Yeah, exactly. How did you know?
I knew. I just knew. We're taking a break and we're talking about BetterHelp.
This is not a break. This is something that's really important. BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, is our sponsor, one of our sponsors today. And the thing about BetterHelp is I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't need help. And instead of talking about a problem, help is a solution.
No,
See
I
what
know.
I said there?
Yeah. But I know that you know this too because we both have extreme anxiety. There's a lot of times when
Don't make me feel bad. And now I have guilt.
you don't have to feel bad because there's BetterHelp. But a lot of times when I have that anxiety or I'm worried about something, it's hard for me to get past it and do what I need to do. So it's always helpful for me to like go to my therapist, talk about it,
It's very
find
calming,
solutions.
right?
Yeah, and then stop.
No, I'm sorry.
Now I need to go to my therapist.
I know, I'm just showing you.
Yeah,
I was just
but that's a
showing you what
way-
anxiety looks like.
That's a way that I move past whatever my anxiety is and go on with my day. All right, Dad.
It's very convenient, right? It's really accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
BetterHelp is an amazing thing. We get help. Therapy is a big part of our lives, and
Yeah.
So how do people go and get
Well,
it?
if you're thinking about giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and it's entirely online, which is great. You don't have to go into anywhere, which I don't like doing. You could get matched up with a therapist after filling out a brief survey, and then you could switch therapists anytime you want because, as you know, sometimes you just have to find one that's good for you, and you have to switch.
So if you want a problem solver, it's right here. Therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/Howie, Howie, today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.
HELP.com/Howie. Shit, Dad.
I'm sorry. Back to the show. You know, I am so proud of you. And when good things happen to nice people, it even means more. And then, you know, the thought that this, and I think there's a lot of work and technology and technique and thought that goes into it, but this simplicity is what it is.
Yeah.
Something so simple has, lasted this long. And
Yeah,
if there's one word to describe it, it is simple. And they're simpletons and it's simple. And
Totally, yeah.
and it seems like everybody can draw it,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's very pure. The characters are simple and pure, yeah. And I think, well, going back to like when us imitating the guy in the back of the class, I knew like when I started doing that, see now my voice is going, everyone else was doing it. Like it was really contagious. Other people just are going,
Right.
And so when I was doing this originally with the short, I thought, well, I have tested this out in my engineering brain. I'm like, this caught on with a few people. Maybe it'll catch on with a lot of people. I didn't think it would turn into, 30 years later, an airplane.
Have you had those classmates come back to you and say, "Oh, this is
Oh
what
yeah,
we were
they called
doing"?
me. One of them, I can say his name, Mike Baca. He
Mike
lives in LA.
Baca called you?
Yeah, yeah.
What a fucking name dropper! I always thought you've gone Hollywood on us.
Yeah, no.
You have gone Hollywood.
Mike C.D. Baca.
Mike
He
C.D.
lives
Baca.
in Calabasas, I think. Or
Oh, there he's at. Now he's
Yeah,
dropping
I'm
cities.
sorry.
City dropper. Isn't that where the Kardashians live? Yes.
Do they?
Yes. Oh, do they? Mike. So he called you. He was in your class.
Mhm.
And what did he say?
I'd mentioned his name in an interview, and I forgot I did that. Him and this guy, Bob McCarthy.
Bob
And,
McCarthy.
There you go.
Mike C.D. Baca.
Mike
Bob-
C.D. Baca. C.D. Baca. It's a
How do we spell it? We'll put it up on the
Spanish
screen.
for head of a cow, I think. It's a
It really is. C.D. Baca is Spanish for head of a cow.
yeah. It's a Mexican Spanish name. There's a hyphen in it somewhere.
Right. Right.
Let's make sure.
So
Let's make sure we get it right.
even if we don't get it
He's
right,
an engineer. He's not in show business. He'll be fine.
what does he do?
He's working for Motorola. He's working on the 5G stuff, I think, last time.
Working on 5G.
Yeah,
stuff. I've heard of
there
that
you go.
stuff. Okay. So, and he's also dropping a bandwidth or whatever.
Yeah, I'm dropping.
5G. But so he called you to say,
Oh, just he jokingly said he was going to sue me.
Is that why
And
you're
then
so
he,
hesitant to say anyone's name?
"Are you sure it was jokingly?"
We're good friends. Yeah, it was. Well, for about half a second, I thought maybe it's not jokingly.
Why? Because
But,
he's saying that he did
no, he was,
first.
No, he's just joking. No, he was. He was just reaching out saying that he thought it was funny.
Now,
So
recently,
Yeah,
in a
it
week.
was like a month ago or so.
A month ago.
mentioned it in like a Comic-Con interview or something like that.
Right, but that Beavis and Butthead is funny.
No. That it was funny that I mentioned.
Oh, that you mentioned his name.
Yeah.
Well, wait till he sees this episode. I'm thinking like 30 years later.
Now I'm talking about
Mike Beady Butthead is here.
Beady Butthead.
Beady Butthead.
I didn't get to tell you in class, but that laugh is funny. I like that. I know it's late.
This is a new character you're doing here.
What, this?
We could, oh no, is that sort of a little bit of Bobby?
No, Bobby is.
Oh yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Do people ask you? Do people always ask you like, are you dating now?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do people ask me?
But I thought, I know that you were separated, and for a while you were like single, and I wondered if that was part of the repertoire because it's known among, like are there women that go, come on, I want Beavis in me?
Almost never, never.
No, nobody has gone. Just go. Well, you push.
Never. Seriously, never. No one's ever people ask me if I get asked to do the voice a lot. I don't get asked to do
Before you leave, I'm going to have you sing "I've Got You, Babe."
Very rarely. Once in a while, a cop who pulled me over asked me to do it.
Did he ask you to do it, or were you just trying to get out of a ticket?
Hey, do you know who I am?
He asked me to do it, and I thought this is kind of messed up a little bit here.
Did you do it to get out of a ticket?
I did. I didn't want to get out of the ticket. He just said, "Look,
what'd you get pulled over for? Speeding?"
Speeding, yeah. He said, "Look, I can give you a blah 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 and a warning, but can you do the laugh for me?" Which I think is probably illegal. But so now I'm going to get thrown in jail because I participated.
No, you're not going to, unless you want to drop his name.
No.
That was Officer Gauntlet. So you're in your car. This guy's writing a ticket, and you're just looking up at him, going.
He went back to his car, recognized the name, and asked if I was the guy. And he was a nice guy. He was talking about.
But you're sitting in your car,
yeah,
looking at him. And what did you do?
Oh, I went, yeah.
And then he said, "Good, you don't have a ticket." I mean,
you don't.
What
have
a way to get out of a ticket.
My husband gets out of tickets.
How did he
flirts with cops.
He flirts.
Yeah.
With how does he? He doesn't have a weird laugh. What did he say?
One time we got pulled over because is it called a California roll when you kind of like roll through a stop sign, and he got pulled over, and then the cop came over to the car, and my husband started telling him that he has gorgeous eyes, and he's never seen eyes like that.
And
I was in the car, and so were the kids, and we got out of the ticket because he just kept
made him
flirting.
really uncomfortable.
Let this be a lesson to you kids.
Yes, I could swim in those eyes.
Yeah, he just kept flirting with the officer.
So moving on, Hank. Is Hank somebody from King of the Hill? Is that somebody from your life?
Yeah, that's about 2 or 3 people.
And can you say their name? And have you said their name?
Probably. One of them, I think, knows who he is because I ran into his son. But
you told his son,
and I actually can't remember his name. When Cheska and I lived in our first house outside of Dallas, a place called Richardson, we had these neighbors, and they would these 4 dudes were always out there drinking beers in the alley. You entered your driveway through the alley, and I was a musician, and a storm had come through and knocked down a section of my fence, and so I'm not really such a handyman, but I'm out there trying to fix it, and I'm like pounding a nail in, and I see this guy, and he's like eyeballing me like I'm doing it wrong, and he comes over and he goes, "Yeah, that's not going to work. You're going to have to take that post out. It's rotted." And I said, "Oh, okay." Then the other guy comes, this guy, Ron, comes over, he's like, "Yeah, I got some concrete." And then the other guy, and after, like, I'd just woken up, like, the guy comes over with a wheelbarrow, another guy has concrete and hose, and this guy, he goes, "Well, I've got a couple fence posts in my garage." Like, he already had them.
He has them.
This guy had, I remember asking him he's talking about a rototiller, and he had 2 rototillers, and he's got just a normal size, like the size
not
of
a farm.
this room. No, it's not. It's like a little. But then he comes, and after a while, like, they're all like pouring concrete and running a string between it. And I realized, like, I'm kind of useless here. And I went back inside, and Cheska was there, like, she's looking out the window, like, "What's going on out there?" They're putting up a new fence for us, I guess.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then finally, like, I come out and they're done, and he's telling me like the thing to do. Like, it's like, "Well, you put up these palings and you leave a 2-inch gap because them termites will get in there." And then I said, "Okay." So then I go get some nails and I start pounding him in. I see him across the alley looking at me. I'm like, oh shit, here he comes. He's like, them's the wrong kind of nails. They're going to rust. You're going to need. And then he goes gets his nails and then he starts like
That is hysterical.
And once we looked out the peephole, and the next door neighbor was edging my lawn with his weed whacker because I'd done it wrong.
Can you imagine if you left the drapes open in your bedroom?
Well, that's not how you do it. Usually, if you just take her from the back, I can do it. I got a.
Well, that ain't going to work. Yeah,
That's
that was
hysterical.
That's sort of the beginnings of King of the Hill.
But they're all, that's, I think, what it hits us is they're not just funny shows, they're real. And even if they're animated, they are so steeped in reality.
Yeah, I always thought, like, back then, Do the Right Thing had just come out, the Spike Lee movie. And
Sure.
I'd never even been to wherever in Brooklyn or wherever that is. But there's something about it you could tell was just, there's like a nuance to something that's real.
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, why hasn't anyone made something like that, but just about my normal neighborhood? Or like, I grew up in
Or The
suburbia,
Office.
like, yeah, or offices, cubicles, like all those things that most people experience that Hollywood never talks about. So that was sort of that's what I was always, my goal to
But that's what you've done.
those
The
things,
mundane world that we
Yeah.
all experience. So then you start to get, what?
I broke shit. Hold on. I did it. I
What?
kicked
Oh, yeah.
under there when I crossed my legs. I'm sorry. I broke everything. It's me.
Well, come and fix this
I'm
before we
sorry.
move on.
I went to cross my legs and I kicked the back of the screen.
No, it's okay. It's
Okay.
all right.
What you're going to have now.
I'm sorry. It was me.
No, we need it. Dave there?
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. That's her brother. That's Alex. You remember Alex?
Oh my God. I didn't
We're all
recognize
here.
Say hi to Mike, Alex.
You're all
No,
grown
stay
up.
there. Do your work. Say hi to
Oh,
Mike.
I think I saw you guys in like 2010 or something like that.
But that's him now. Look what he's doing now.
His two favorite kids work here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Wait, is that Riley out there? No.
No.
Not yet. What are your girls doing now?
Oh man, Julia is pregnant. She's married. She's finishing her PhD at Harvard,
What?
In
archaeology, which is what my dad did. And
Oh my God.
About to have a baby.
Like everything you said is like she's pregnant already. Is this going to be your first grandchild?
yeah, first one,
It's amazing.
How old is she?
30. Then Lily is engaged to a really great guy. Julie's husband's great. I'm really lucky. Lily's living here in LA. She finished AFI. She's doing film editing and getting into directing.
Do you guys work together?
We have a little bit, yeah. I always, I don't know if it's good or bad to hire your kids, but I guess it's working out for you guys.
I wouldn't work with a child. If it was up to me, I would not work with a child. It is great.
We break shit.
What did she work on with you?
Well, she was doing some animation stuff with me, some stuff that's not out yet, little pilot stuff. But she's working on a feature now, an independent feature, and she does music videos and stuff.
Is she funny?
Very funny, yeah.
Is that what her milieu is? Is it also
Yeah.
comedy?
Yeah.
She shares
She's,
a sense of humor.
Yeah, and she does really good imitations too.
Does she do voices on your stuff?
Not yet. She's going to have to audition. And,
You're right. Go through she can't have a.
No, I don't know how much she wants to even do that. I think she likes just kind of the filmmaking part of it,
Do you like, you've been mostly behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
you've acted too, Spy Kids and things like that. Do you like acting? Do you like being out front as much as you do behind?
I think I do. I just, if everything's right, and usually, yeah, like I actually did a part in this Jason Reitman movie that it didn't, I guess it didn't do that well, but I really liked it. It was called The Front Runner. I'm just in 3 scenes, but I actually went and took acting lessons before this because doing Silicon Valley.
Before this podcast?
No, right before this podcast. I wanted to
Act like you were enjoying
Just in
yourself.
case.
I want to name drop and I want to look like I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
I want to look as important as possible. With my, but I actually was really liking it that time. That's the last time I did it, I guess, was it? Yeah.
But what
Yeah, I
you
don't-
said
no,
you were
I-
talking about Silicon Valley. What did you say?
Oh, just because, like, I think it would, doing so much live action for, that show went 6 seasons. Just kind of seeing what it's like on the other side of things, I think is also good for a director.
Silicon Valley was amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Was
Yeah,
that a really good experience?
Oh, it was great. It was one of the best experiences ever because I don't know. HBO was so supportive. It was one of the first times there just weren't really a lot of problems, with the studio. Not a lot of. They just
Let you go.
Yeah, they let me go. They didn't argue about casting. They just were fully supportive. And working with Alec Berg, really great, amazing writer, showrunner, and yeah, it was a great cast. It was just really fun.
Are you aware of the impact that your work has?
Maybe. Sometimes if I think about that too much, it gets weirds me out, so I don't think about it too much. But every now and then I'll kind of seeing that plane or I'll hear what I remember the first time, it was, I don't know, Beavis and Butthead had been out a year and a half or 2 years. And see, what was it? The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, True Lies. He drops a Beavis and Butthead.
Right.
And there I'm like, whoa, I'm in a theater watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And
Yeah.
But everything you do, whether that be Office Space, whether it be Beavis and Butthead, or it has some sort of lasting. Like it's not just a show, and do you realize how people are touched by the stuff that you do, and how affected they are?
I hope so. I mean,
like even little moments. Let me. No. I want to share with you. Here's a clip from Silicon Valley. Tell me what you remember about this.
Oh, this was one of my, yeah. This was.
Watch this.
I can tell.
Here's a
Hello?
clip.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's sort of fading.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I'm hearing you. It's just the image is.
Nelson, shut up for a second. If you can hear me,
Make a gesture.
Is it? I hear you. Is this?
I have no idea what you're saying, Nelson. Nelson. Can you help me, please?
Okay, so that we can cut on that. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
Tell me.
very well. Well,
a little bit about that.
we were writing. We were in the writer's room and we had a whole thing that we thought was super funny before this. And with one of those, they have those things, it's like a Segway with an iPad on top where you can be in
Different
doctors
rooms.
use it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we had a whole thing with that we thought was so funny. And then someone pointed out that's already been done on, what's the Chuck Lorre.
2.5 Men. Not 2.5 Men. Theory. Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
And it's like, okay, well, we got to come up with something else. And this is what replaced it. But my frustration with technology, I love doing this show to just put it out there. I just really like having worked because my second engineering job was in Silicon Valley, and I have like a love-hate thing with technology, and that's all.
Well, it's so funny. That's the hate part of it. So that was, for those that are just listening and not watching, that was a scene where you had a hologram machine, right?
Yeah, super expensive, which exists. Like,
okay,
someone
but
trying to make it, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a guy that I know named David Nussbaum, who is a big. Do you know who he is?
Oh no, I thought for a second you were talking about the actor who plays the guy at the end there. No, okay.
No, I know the actors, but I'm talking. There's a guy that I know personally that's named David Nussbaum, who is a huge Mike Judge fan and was watching every episode of Silicon Valley and watched this. And he laughs at everything and thinks this is the best, and then sees that scene of the beam and changed the path of his life.
Really?
Yeah. He went, that's the best fucking idea. This is going to revolutionize the world. And then I'll show you his drawings and what he's done. Put up his drawings. This is David Nussbaum's drawing. He saw that machine. He drew this. He built and tried to. No, I'm telling you that he watched TV. This is how you moved him. He spent his own money and built a hologram kind of machine. So listen to this. Cut to 2022. I sit on the board of a company called Proto. And it is run, and I've invested in it. And there are people from, there's NDAs, but they deal with the Kennedy Space Center, every bank, Christie's. It's the newest and latest in hologram. It was based on this episode, this moment.
Really?
Yeah. And you got to meet David. Do you want to meet David?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, David, say hi.
Oh, is he here on a hologram? Oh,
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mike.
hey,
Howie.
David. Oh no, is it going to start glitching?
No, that's
No, we figured out how to actually make it work. So thank you. I
That's pretty
appreciate
good, of course.
You inspired all of this.
But do you
Am
know?
I in 3D over here? No. Oh, is that what this camera?
No, that's not this camera. That's a real hologram. And I swear to you that these machines are in the St. Jude Hospital, so people can visit with their friends.
Oh, nice.
These machines. I've been doing concerts like this live. There's been big concerts. Kiss is buying them. Michael Bublé has them on the road.
Oh my God!
You
wow.
can be anywhere. You could be in Austin and direct your. But David was the guy watching your show and created this company based on a scene from Silicon
Wow.
Valley.
And it's called Proto. Wait, does it make you look like Adam Sandler kind of, or is it just?
No, that's every Jew. That's every Jew.
But
no.
you can put stuff on. You can.
Yeah,
do
you put
filters
filters
and
on
stuff.
him if you want to.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
So yeah, I'm beaming in to thank you. This is if
Wow.
not for that very episode, there's a good chance that none of this happens. We are in like 20 countries. We've got hundreds of
God.
units out there, and we're beaming guys like Howie and Diddy and Walker Hayes
that
and
looks really
Ellen. We're beaming people all over the place right now. Live holoportation because
And are
of that
you-
scene.
Is this? Are you in one of these things, like these cylinder things right now?
No, he's wherever he is.
But I mean, is he inside?
No,
He's
Do you-
not
oh,
inside
you can just
anything.
what's in front of you? Just a
Nothing, a
multiple
camera.
camera setup?
Camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Wow.
yeah, and he can see you. He can see us, and there's no latency. This is real.
Yeah, I know. This is really. Do you have to have some super high bandwidth?
No, you can do this with your own phone. You could do this on an iPhone. You know, and this is it is amazing. So, David, you inspired what is considered a whole industry, which is probably, and it's, you know, they've raised millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's all over Europe, Asia, everywhere because of one scene that you wrote as a
to look
joke
this up.
for your
Okay.
hatred
Yeah.
of technology.
Well, this one works. See, Gavin Belson's thing didn't work. That was the whole. They had to go.
Well,
they had to go to the
it is-
landline.
It is true. Like, I mean, from Office Space and Beavis and Butthead and all of the incredible movies, it was that scene in Silicon Valley. I said, enough's enough. You know, I've seen holoportation in the Jetsons. I've seen it in Back to the Future. I've seen it in Star Wars.
Yeah.
That scene, though, I said, that is realistic looking, though. That is the first time I said, wait a second, we should do that for real. And here we are.
you're doing it for real.
We're beaming people all over the place now.
We had to use special effects to make it look real.
And there's no special effect. He's actually
this is,
here. Thanks, Dave. Whoa, oh,
Yeah,
look.
thank you. Oh,
Wow. All right, thanks. See
That's
that?
really good. It looks really amazing.
It
really
is.
does.
It is. I'll show you after.
audio's
We have a whole showroom here.
Audio's great too.
The audio's great.
Yeah.
The video's great, and he is actually here. You can do. I do concerts, and you know the people on stage. I guess the people from Kiss were here, and they were talking about maybe having Lenny Kravitz or Eddie Vedder live on stage from real time. They can come from their house,
Wow.
or do whatever. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Bye,
thank
Howie.
you.
Bye.
Bye, Jacqueline. Bye, Mike.
Bye.
Beam you
Bye-bye.
later.
See you later.
You know, Office
That's really
Space
cool.
changed who my husband is too.
Why?
He says it all the time. He says that growing up, he was a very insecure kid, and he watched Office Space, and he's like, nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Oh.
I'm not going to be insecure anymore. It doesn't matter. And like
wow.
seriously, from that point on, he said he wasn't insecure anymore. He wanted to be just like that character.
Wow.
Yeah.
So people are really.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think
Yeah.
it's really good to do things that people enjoy, that people will buy tickets to, that people will click onto and watch. But there's something to be said when you make impressions in young people, and they kind of take from, even if that wasn't your intent, the fact that they can take it and do something with it.
Yeah,
and
that's-
you've actually changed the world. You know
That's
that.
nice to hear. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
No, don't thank.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm not really thinking that way when I do stuff, but I am kind of, I guess I'm usually trying to get to the kind of like the core, the bottom of things, you know, like the Office Space was, you know, came out of me working in those cubicles, and, you know, even before being an engineer, I had a couple cubicle jobs, and my second engineering job was very much like that, and just thinking like, wow, everybody does this, but you never see it on. When it's on in a movie, it's like a big ad agency in New York or something like
Right.
that. It's never like that.
And there's, you know,
horrible
as somebody
part of
who travels and flies from coast to coast, those flyover states, like when you see this is a bubble. Where do you
Yeah.
live now? Do you live in Austin?
I'm back in Austin. I was out here for I'm here for the summer right now. I'm actually
You're a big
going
surfer.
back.
You out here
Small
for
surfer.
surfing
Yeah.
season?
Just get out of the heat, although it's not working out well
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, I mean, Austin is where I mostly am now.
And
But
you do
yeah.
all your work right there at home, right? You do.
Yeah, I mean, well, Silicon Valley, I was out here full time for like 6 or 7 years. But Austin, you can do. I mean, I was doing the version of Zoom before, way back in the 90s. I mean, I had the webcam, and on Beavis and Butthead back then, we were doing. Yeah, I'd have like 5 people or so in Austin, and then the rest were New York and Korea, and so you can do it. You could do it back then just like you can now. Animation, especially. Actually, most animation, everyone's working at home now because
What do you like better, animation or live action?
it's always like the grass is greener on the other side. Whenever I'm doing animation, I think, oh man, this would be so much easier for live action. And but I think in the long run, probably animation, I guess, is there's something really great about creating something like starting from a drawing and then seeing it come to life with the voice and the movement and everything is just a really cool feeling.
You've also worked. Have you not worked writing other people's shows? You did
Not really.
all your own stuff. That's the only. You've only worked. For
Yeah,
yourself?
I never got a writing job on another show, I don't think. I mean, I've consulted, like gone to like roundtable stuff for people, but no, I mean, that first Office Space short, which Comedy Central ran it on a show. It's the first time anything of mine got on TV. Was a show Night After Night with Alan Havey.
Yep.
Which and they asked me if I was interested in writing, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be great, a writing gig. And I tried writing some spec stuff, but then my animation just was starting to get
Going.
more heat, and so I just never
No,
did it.
So, how many episodes are you doing how many more episodes for Paramount? Paramount
Let's
Plus?
see. Well, there's probably going to be a season 2, so there's 12 that are airing now.
Right.
I think 5 of them. There's a new one coming tomorrow. And then probably another 12. But 12 means 24 because there's 2. They're each 15 minutes long.
Right. And what else are you working on? You're always got projects.
Got some other stuff in the works. A possible movie, actually, a couple. One I wouldn't direct. I don't think I'm allowed to say those
Even if
yet,
you
but
asked
those
you?
could be- even if
Even if you asked you.
even if you asked you, I can ask me. I said no. I guess I don't know. But yeah, and then I'm doing this
It's going to be.
animation
Are you
company,
going to? Why don't you have
Bandera.
Mike Beetlebum?
CD
direct-
Baca.
Mike CD Baca can direct it. No, you got to give him a shot.
He's going to be delighted that Howie Mandel said his name 20 times, although he said Beetlebum too. So.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. He knows who I'm talking about. And I'm also live in Calabasas.
Yeah, you're a neighbor.
So
of
I'm
his,
going to get hit by a Mexican engineer who has the head of a cow or something. Right? Isn't that what he supposedly looks like?
CD
No,
Baca.
that's what his name is.
So you have an animation company, Bandera.
Yeah. Greg Daniels and I started with. We've got a bunch of stuff in development, and
You guys have a great
Yeah.
partnership.
we did other stuff for a long time, but this started with talking about a King of the Hill reboot, and then we just started talking about animators we know and writers and thinking about, because there's a lot of people do, like a celebrity will want to do an animated show or something, and they kind of don't pay it, like studios don't, they just go, let's pair this person with this drawing, and they don't really put a lot of thought into when animation really pops, it's like the sum is greater than the parts, and it just really works, and that's sort of something that, I don't know, it's kind of, we're looking to kind of get that part of it right, and it's been pretty fun. We got a bunch of
Is there going to be
stuff coming.
a King of the Hill reboot?
There very well might be, yeah. It's still not for sure, but
What
it's
are
been getting closer.
What are your thoughts on origami?
I love it.
Nobody's done a show.
An animated origami.
King of the Hill still plays all the time.
They
My
all
son
play all the
turns it
time,
on. My
yeah.
son turns it on.
Oh, just
all
like
the
turning
time.
it on the TV.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's still on. Like if you have it on a random
Cartoon
channel.
Network, I think.
Nobody wants to talk about
Cartoon
origami.
Network.
No. You know what I do
Have you ever
remember?
done origami?
I folded some paper. I don't know that when is it considered origami? If you can convince somebody it's a
I think
bird,
a paper airplane is not origami, I think.
is it
It's
not?
not?
Isn't
Why?
that American
Why?
origami? A lot of people are going to be disappointed. Just disappointed. A lot of people in America. But nobody's done an entire show based on origami. Just folded papers.
Origami?
Origami. And you create characters from folded papers.
You got something.
There was an animated short that somebody did that was pretty cool a long time ago with origami.
Oh, I knew
But it didn't
wasn't my
go-
idea.
I
It didn't
think
take
so.
off.
It
They didn't do
didn't
it right. Not enough thought.
Well, maybe we can work with Bandera, the origami. Howie Mandel.
Do you like directing?
Yeah, I do. Directing live action. I'm not crazy about the hours, like the getting up at before 6 a.m. and getting
As a
set.
surfer, when do you go out? Don't you go out in the morning for the swell?
Well, the morning is because it's not windy usually, you know.
I don't know
But,
that much about
But yeah,
you're not a morning person.
getting up for surfing and then it's a little different than getting up and
So it's not
driving
about
for
getting up, it's what you're getting up
a
for.
16-hour day. Yeah, no, I really do like directing. It's Office Space was the movie was the first time I directed. And there were moments that were so beyond stressful. I thought like, I'm never going to do this again. But then there were moments where I was like, wow, this is what I was born to do. This is just so fun.
Did they outweigh the ones that were incredibly stressful?
Yeah,
obviously.
because I really love doing it.
Because I also know that.
And it gets easier the more it gets.
But you said
get better
Idiocracy
at
was
it.
also really tough.
Yeah, that was just a really impossible schedule, and everything that I felt like it was cursed from the beginning. Like everything that could go wrong did, and
But it's
but
it's in the pantheon of.
it is. It's out there. People reference. Yeah, I get that one. That's another one that kind of grew from just knowing it. Well, the studio just dumped it, but,
Right. But that doesn't matter.
Kind of caught on. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like if you do something that is interesting or good, it's usually going to find an audience one way or the other.
Do you find dealing with studios and networks tough, frustrating?
It's
are
gotten
you-
better. Yeah, it was really tough sometimes. I think about that. Like, I think when I do interviews, they tend to seize on the negative stuff about studios because
Talk
that's
about
fun,
all
you know,
the
but-
things you love about studios.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
going to be. I'm
interesting.
not going to be like an interview. What is the best thing about notes? What is the best thing about cuts and budgets? And what do you love most about executives? Those
I
are
love the way they don't like any of my casting choices ever. No, ultimately, like I always just say it, like, they do pay for it ultimately. Like I never would have made Office Space if somebody didn't go out on a limb and put their reputation on the line to spend that money to make it. So good for them. But,
But then
it's always-
ultimately, I was just
ulti-
talking to somebody earlier before this. Ultimately, the person that made the decision to say go and write the check is not the person that you're dealing with day to day.
Not usually.
No,
Not-
and
hardly ever.
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
That's the problem. Yeah. And sometimes they're misunderstanding something that person wrote the check said, and the notes go down through 2 or 3 different people. And so you just have to constantly argue and fight. Yeah. That was really rough on Office Space and and Idiocracy, but not at all on Silicon Valley and, or any of the stuff I've done since, like the new Beavis and Butthead stuff's they've been almost no notes at all.
Are you happy?
I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm a happy guy.
Okay.
About to be a grandpa.
That's
Things could be
amazing. Do you know
worse.
what it is? Is it a boy or a girl? Can we? And
I
if you
know
don't
if I could
know,
say on the,
no, you know
I
what?
do-
We
I
should
do,
have
yeah.
a gender reveal.
yeah, well, right here on your podcast.
You're not allowed
Wait,
to
are you a
say.
grandpa yet?
Twice. She.
I have
that's
two.
right. You
She
just
has
said
two.
your kid. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
Congratulations.
We
Thanks.
didn't. She didn't reveal who the father is yet, but we're gonna. We will reveal it
Have
on
a party for
next
that.
next podcast.
That's awesome.
But you're not. You don't want to say what.
A boy.
Okay, and then should we call
I
and
don't
find
think
out if
she'll
it's
be
okay?
mad.
And what are you going
I
to
hope
name
she
him?
doesn't hate
What are
me.
you going to name him?
Oh, that she hasn't told
Buttle
us.
Biddle.
Beetle bottle.
Howie Mandel.
That is how amazing.
No
is
one
it?
names their kids Howie or Howard anymore.
Yeah, I've never seen. Nobody has ever shown you like a baby in a bassinet in the last 30 years. They go,
You know who this is? Howard.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
weird.
look
like,
at Howard.
whatever name, I was talking to my daughters about this, whatever name everybody thinks is original at the time becomes the name that like my daughter's age, like there's a ton of Dylans, like boys
Right.
named Dylan, and so that that's like the whatever name that nobody wants when they're that age, so that
Right.
whatever like unusual cool name is the kids are gonna hate it when they
But
get to be 30.
when you think of yourself, it's hard to think of a baby. Like you don't want to look in a crib and go, look at Mike.
Yeah, I don't. Mike should be. No one should name their kid Mike for like another 50 years.
Mike is colicky. Mike was up all fucking night. He was colicky. You go in and change the shit out of Mike's diaper.
Mike is screaming again.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Anyway, this is great.
Is that the daughter that lives by you, the one that's having?
No, she's
No, that's
they're
the
in,
Harvard. the Harvard.
The big shots.
The
her
big shot.
husband's.
What's her husband do?
He's
Are
a
you allowed to
professor.
say?
Yeah,
He's a professor.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you should.
It's all. They're all.
Wow. And are you happy with these guys?
Oh yeah, they've been together for. Yeah, they're in school together. Yeah, they're.
Oh, was he the professor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just-
They're both in
No
the
wonder
same
she got a PhD. That's better than an STD.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
What? Hey.
It's uncomfortable when you work with your kids.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They don't like.
You said you got to reveal who the dad is. It's it's all nothing's off limits.
Nothing is off limits at our house, and nothing is ever off limits with you. I love you, buddy.
Can I tell you
likewise.
before we go, one of my favorite memories of my life involves you too.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it's when you got.
Oh
us
wait.
our-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that is the favorite. You got to hear this, Mike. It's one of the most uplifting. But Paramount Plus is what you want to plug, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Paramount Plus,
but-
the new Beavis and Butthead series, and the new Beavis and Butthead movie.
You're right.
Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. It's all there.
It's all there. So, but the most important moment to her, and we didn't. She said, "I got to tell him. I got to tell him." And you will probably remember this. You will probably remember this. Oh, we're out of time.
You're an asshole, Dad.
Is that the sign off to every episode?
You're an asshole, Dad.